Chapter 14. Fear Knocking at the Door. Knock, knock, knock. The sound was horrifying. Zeddy, Zadie, and Prophecy looked at each other in panic. They scanned the room, but there appeared to be no way out except the door which led from where the knocking was coming. Terror gripped the three as they stood there paralyzed. The Rosetta crystal in Zeddie's hand glowed almost blue now. It was cool to the touch, but looked as if it could burn through metal, like a blowtorch. Zeddy almost dropped it, but he realized the temperature of the rock hadn't changed. It had to be a warning. Zeddy, Zadie, and Prophecy exchanged glances that let each other know they all agreed on one thing. Those knocks were not something they wanted to deal with. Ever. "What should we do?" asked Zadie in a panic. "I can't let them take my son. He's just a boy." Prophecy replied quickly, "No, they mustn't, and we have to hide the crystal and the Zutterfly. If they find those here, they will never believe that the explosion at the project was accidental. They will think we are hiding the discovery for ourselves. That alone would be life in prison for Zane, and me, if not worse." "So what do we do?" Zadie said as quietly as she could with her pulse pounding in her ears. "Knock, knock, knock, knock." Whoever was knocking at that door was beginning to get impatient. "Mom, we can hide under some of this equipment. Prophecy, you will have to go talk to them. Act natural, like you were busy researching and lost in thought. Act like you don't have a clue what could be going on that they would need to talk to you. We need to hurry up, though. I've got no clue what to do if they bust down the door," Zeddy said bravely, taking command. "Good thinking, my boy. Excellent plan. Get Smalley and hide. I will be even more distracted and absent-minded than usual. It will work. Surely it will work." Prophecy's voice trailed off as he tried to erase his own fears of what was to come. After meeting Zeddy and Zadie, and after seeing the amazing dark matter bug and dark energy crystal, Professor A.Z. Zenith was sure he had to do what he could to protect them. With Zane gone, it was his duty to take the place of the man he thought of as his own son. Zeddy whispered for Smalley to come with them, and the dark matter Zutterfly willingly flew into large cabinets Zeddy and Zadie were squeezing into. Smalley knew danger when he felt it, and what waited outside that door was definitely danger. Even the little Zutterfly thought that no good could come of it if these were the people who had Zeddy's father. He was growing very fond of this brave earthly boy, and he began to think of how he could help if the situation became even more perilous. Prophecy waited till the trio was nestled in the large supply cabinets that had long sat empty due to his never-ending lack of supplies. He quickly switched off the computers and steadied himself as he turned to walk down the hall. Again, the loud knocking bellowed its command to come down the hall. Prophecy took a deep breath and walked quickly down the hall. "Coming, coming," Prophecy called out as he hurried down the hall. "Who is it, please?" "Dr. Zenith, this is the International Military Police. We need to speak with you regarding the explosion in the Nevada province. Open the door, please," a deep voice called from outside. "May I see your identification?" called Prophecy, stalling as best as he could. "I'm sorry, but one can't be too careful." "Slide open the panel on your door," called the deep voice. "You may look through to see our identification cards." "Why, thank you," Prophecy answered shakily. Prophecy slid the panel over slowly. 3 bulging men stood outside his door wearing the gray military uniforms with gold insignias of the International Military Police. All 3 had dark sunglasses and shaved black hair. Each man was the exact same height and build, and they looked more like robots than humans. Detective Hassel, Senior Detective Madden, and Special Agent Ayer all had proper IMP identification cards, complete with the international government's stamp of authenticity. Taking a deep breath and a gulp for good measure, Dr. A.Z. Zenith opened the door. "I do apologize. I hope you weren't waiting long. I was researching, and I just sometimes get lost in my studies. Being a scientist, I don't get many social calls." Prophecy smiled as best he could, stepping out the door and pulling it closed behind him. "I am Special Agent Ayer. We need to speak to you about the details of the explosion in the Nevada province. We also need to make sure that you have not been contaminated by radiation. We will need to go inside now," the deep voice said, eyes hidden by the black lenses in the glasses. "It's such a lovely day, and I've been cooped up all day. Might we do this on the veranda? I have some lemons. I could make lemonade." The professor tried his best to head towards the garden veranda. We need to do this inside, if you please, Doctor. Now, Special Agent Ayer demanded. Well, you see, the house is quite the mess, not having any visitors. Well, as I said before, I'm unaccustomed to visitors. Prophecy kept trying to dissuade the agents. Now, Ayer commanded, grabbing Prophecy by the arm in a most painful way. Yes, very well, then perhaps it is rather hot out here. The longer I stand here, the more I notice it. Do come inside, Prophecy said, backtracking to the door and hoping the hand grasping his arm would loosen. The 3 IMP followed Prophecy into the dim hallway and across to the study he used to greet his few visitors. Computers lined the walls, but there was a comfortable brown velveteen chair, couch, and love seat. They were worn with age, but at least if he got to sit in the chair, he would be out of Ayer's agonizing grasp. Prophecy headed towards the chair, and, once he was seated, Ayer released the older man's thin arm. Prophecy breathed a sigh of relief as the throbbing arm fell to his side. Ayer sat on the couch which was positioned closest to the chair. A second IMP sat on the love seat facing the professor, and the third man stood in the study doorway. Now, said Ayer, let's discuss the explosion that occurred during your project's accident in the Nevada province. Prophecy could tell this was not a good omen for the rest of their visit.